I'm Edwin Samuelson, and welcome to another edition of the CineFiles, a film review show for film geeks by film geeks. Be sure to give us an email of your comments of the show, what you'd like us to review, at cinefiles@dvdmaniacs.net. We want to know that somebody is out there watching. And anyway, yes, let's introduce our co-host over here.
Esteemed panel.
Yes, our panel. Here, introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, I'm Steve, and I'm on the show, as I said last time, and I can see everything that you guys can't that's going on right over here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jeff Galishaw. On this show, I'm going to talk a lot more. Thank you.
Mike.
Yo.
I want to be like Mike. All right. Our first topic today will be the 40-Year-Old Virgin, a sex comedy devoted to, I guess, the old throwback. Well, it's a film about basically an 80s throwback type comedy, except this time it's a 40-year-old person instead of a 18-year-old trying to lose his virginity. Steve Carell plays the man in question as a nerdy electronic salesman who basically needs to lose his virginity. And at 40 years old, the clock is ticking very quickly.
Some of us are cool.
So, guys, I'd like to start with you here, Mike. What do you think of the 40-year-old version?
I wasn't sure if I'd like it or not, but I thought the premise was good enough to go basically sneak into it after I saw Brothers Grimm. And so I basically spent nothing on it, and I'll tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. Steve Carell, man, I think this guy has a real future of being, his version of The Office, he's very good. And this movie just really shores up some endearing comic talents, because I think a lot of our comic actors these days are so snarky. They're so not sincere when it comes to a good comedic performance. I guess it's because David Spade has committed so many cinema atrocities that when somebody with real talent comes along and does a film like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Stephen Carell, man, and Paul Rudd, who gives a very, very good comedic performance.
As his mentor.
And I'll tell you something, there are enough good secondary performances to shine on Steve Carell's part.
Exactly.
And Catherine Keener as the quote-unquote sexy grandmother, she is a stone-cold fox. I love Catherine Keener. I can't get enough of her.
She's a hot grandma.
And there's another actor whose name I'm not familiar with, but I know these guys.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. I love Seth Rogen.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Why?
Come on,
Tell us why.
Seth Rogen.
Talk a lot.
Seth Rogen is just, to me, the ultimate. It's like the best friend character, but he's so much more interesting than the lead. He could have his own film, because I have followed Seth Rogen's career from the beginning, from Freaks and Geeks. I even watched him in his small part in Donnie Darko, a movie I don't even like that much. But
I don't like either.
Donnie Retardo, right?
Yes, but even in the few minutes he's in it, I'm just amazed. Then there's Undeclared, which he also helped write. He also helps write the Ali G Show.
Yep.
And, now he's finally getting, more movie roles, and he just shines in it. Not to diminish anybody else in the film, but to me, his performance shined through all the others, but everybody else was great. Romany Malco, the man went from playing Hammer to being a fine comedic actor in this film. Everything in this film not only was over the top, which a lot of modern-day comedies are missing, but it also had heart so that you felt everything, and you actually cared about the characters. And, to me, this is one, I'm not going to say it's the best film I've seen this year, but it's one of the best films I've seen all year. I really loved it. And, again, just like him, I didn't expect much. I thought it was going to be a one-joke premise, like a Jimmy Fallon movie. Just as bad, too. But I loved this film.
All right, well, come on. I want to hear from
I'm a really big fan of Judd Apatow, at least his television work, especially Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared, as Jeff mentioned. And
two excellent shows that need to be revalidated. And actually, this film was a lot in his style.
Well, yeah, I went to see this film because I like Judd Apatow. And I liked it. I thought it was very funny. I liked his
I'm glad you think it's funny.
Thank God. The reason I liked it, too, is that you could see that the actors were not afraid to make fun of themselves, and that they were, there's a lot of actors who won't do certain things because it's embarrassing. But, you see Seth Rogen, he's getting naked, in a hot tub, and he's, totally out of shape and has a beer gut, and Steve Carell, he's playing this whiny character. And you can tell that I bet you there's a little bit of that character in himself in real life. He had to be, because he really pulled it off very well, I thought. And I really loved the supporting performances. That, you are right, was the key to the movie. It was a great ensemble piece. Everyone got their time to be funny and add something to that. The only thing I thought was I thought maybe it ran just a little too long in a little couple places. I thought it was just a teeny bit long.
It was a little too long.
But the DVD is actually going to be 20
I
minutes
was fine
longer.
with it.
The DVD is going to be 20 minutes longer.
I
my
had
friend.
no
And
problem
it
with
has
the
a
length.
future classic scene. I think everybody will repeat. I know you're gay because.
Yes.
I love that.
That's
scene.
a classic scene, but I also think there's another classic scene in that,
I know what it
which
is.
is basically the body waxing
Oh,
scene.
yes, yes,
Because the
yes.
body waxing scene was all done in one take. And the reaction of the waxer and the reaction of Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen were all real live reactions.
Because that's his real chest hair getting
Yeah, that
pulled
was
off.
his real chest hair being pulled off. And to see the woman's reaction when she's pulling it off, seeing the pain on Steve Carell's face and just kind of doing this and watching him curse and kind of flagellate there on the table was so funny. But then it was all wrapped up in that great, wonderful comedy package when Paul Rudd ended it with, "You look like a man-o'-lantern." That is, to me, that's gold. That is
Well,
that
those
is
lines-
pure gold. Thank you, Paul Rudd.
All those lines were
Thank
improv,
you,
by the way.
screenwriter.
All those lines were improv, they said, too. He just made them up on the spot, and they're pretty funny. I mean, it's pretty sick, too, and you see the blood dripping off of him when they pull the hair. It's pretty hard to watch, but it's very funny. It's done in a really funny way. But the scene that I love, and it's just a little gag because it reminds me of your sense of humor, Mike, is the
Thank
scene
you.
whenever they're in the store, and he begs him, "Please turn anything on but that Michael McDonald."
That
had me
is
on the
really
floor.
good. What was the annoying thing that Michael McDonald sings?
I
That-
think it was "Ain't No Mountain High Enough."
no, there's something. There's some other.
It's worse. It's got to be. It's worse.
There's some nonsensical term that they repeat in the film. He's like, "Don't. What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean?" But
Well, the thing is this: if you hear that song, to me, it's like you hear that song repeatedly, you're like in the seventh layer of hell. That's what I think, and I basically think that that's what they were trying to emphasize with that job.
and the actress that plays the manager of the electronics store from
Jane Lynch.
from the Christopher Guest films, she is fantastic.
She's funny.
Another special mention is when he goes to, I think, the clinic to get his girlfriend's daughter the sex talk.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that scene is hilarious. The little kid and his father, the Jewish people, they are just hilarious. If you see that scene, I was crying. That scene had me dying so much.
Yes, when the little kid goes, "I'll hit that," and he's like, "Oh," his father goes, "Oh, please, you have a little penis." So he said, and see, Jeff's cracking up. So
You can't write that.
But I mean, and something. What this movie does too is it kind of harkens back to the '80s sex comedies that we all know and appreciate, and that kind of bridges us into another segment.
Well, yeah, before we close on this topic, I want to mention two things quickly. You'll be happy to know that Seth Rogen, who you're a fan of, Judd Apatow, says he plans on doing the same thing with Seth Rogen that he did with Steve Carell by making a film around him.
Yes, and I will be the first person in line to see that on opening
Also,
day.
and another thing I want to mention about the film that really makes it work for me is the sweet character of Steve Carell. He never is just obsessed with getting sex. He's a very endearing He really
character.
wants to take his time with this woman, and she's rushing him, which I thought is very, very interesting, way of doing it. But great film. I think it's very funny, and I really like Judd Apatow's work. And I can't stress enough. Please see Freaks and Geeks. It's a show that undeservedly got canceled during its first season, and it's there for everyone to see. But it's really one of the best things I think on TV in the last.
And that's why Judd Apatow, because of the strength of that series, keeps getting work.
Yes, thanks to that show, he got extra work.
Personal hero of mine.
Well, since we're talking about sex comedies, why not talk about the actual genre of favorite sex comedies? We grew up in the 80s, so a lot of the films we love were with teenagers trying to lose their virginity very hard, for them, and they made a whole movie about it. I didn't mean it very hard like that. Well, actually, they were very hard in the pants, too.
Oh, Edwin.
That
you
is
and the
terrible.
pun.
I didn't even mean it. Well, I didn't even mean it when I said very hard,
Yeah, but you really can.
I was
Really
the accidental
drove it home.
punished is my title. But no, I'll start out with you,
Really
Steve.
drove it
What
home.
is you're a child of the '80s, so go
Oh
ahead.
man, well,
You're
God.
You're Teen
many
Wolf
for
2,
him.
for God's sake.
Well, Teen Wolf 2 is not really a sex comedy.
Well, no, I mean, it's an
Well,
80s.
I mean, if you're talking real '80s sex comedies, I think you have to talk about the insanely terrible, mostly direct-to-video, mostly Vestron video sex comedies.
Oh my
I'm
God,
talking
yes,
like
direct to video.
Party Animal.
Like the Police Academy ripoff Recruits,
Oh, I've seen that one.
which is unbelievable. I can't believe that Police Academy has a movie that's worse than it.
Actually, let me tell you, there is one that's actually even worse that's called Night Patrol with Linda Blair.
Okay.
I have seen
Recruits
that.
I've seen
worse.
both of those.
Also,
with a Pat
Recruits is
Morita-
worse, trust me.
With Pat Morita giving a detail of a rape that happened to him,
And he's
he
talking
does
a
it in
child's voice.
Yeah, a little girl's voice. Pat Morita with a little girl's
Fantastic.
voice.
I haven't.
there's also a great one called Weekend Warriors, which stars Chris Lemmon. It's a World War II
Seen that
sex
one
comedy.
too.
Jesus, what kind of losers who rent these things? I
These
don't
are
know.
great movies. These are
I
fantastic.
saw them on cable.
I saw it on cable.
Also, let's not forget one of the greatest, most popular video boxes, I'm sure, when you were a kid was Hots. or
Nice.
Teen
With-
A,
I love Hots.
also called
Hots.
Teen A Academy, which stars, of course, Danny Bonaducci.
Danny Bonaducci as
as
you
the
know.
These are movies. And, of course, how can we talk about 80s sex comedies without mentioning Screwballs?
Oh boy,
yes.
yes.
Where the whole film is about getting a girl naked, and the last shot of the movie, she finally gets naked.
And don't forget one of the characters' names, which I think is very funny and very clever. Yeah, ha. Jerkovsky. That's one of the characters' names.
Come on,
Jerkovsky.
this was a decade
Yeah,
ago.
that's a
That-
classic.
to
Oh,
me,
and
that-
don't forget.
To
they
me,
go
that's
to,
a last name that works.
Don't forget the name of the college too. Taft and Adams. Try the initials, please.
TNA. Hello, everyone.
Yes, if you're just waking up and joining us, we're talking about sex comedy.
9:30 night.
Oh.
Those are my few picks.
So what was a movie that made you get some wood? What's a real movie that gives you wood? Those are crap movies, man. Come on. Those are not erotic.
Sorry.
What
I don't
kind
know.
of questions are these?
Yeah, that's
That's kind of awkward.
That's another show where we actually talk about
yeah.
wood films.
I'm
not-
They're just sex
I'm not going to
comedies.
answer that question.
Yeah,
but
yes,
we can
yes.
move
Lost
on.
in the Woods
Okay.
would be mine. Yes, go
Well,
ahead.
since he went to the straight-to-home video, there are so many more I can think of that are just as bad. There's Party Animal, about a guy who discovers the secret potion that makes him irresistible to women. And in the end, he dies because...
Oh man, I just was watching that. I didn't
yes.
finish it. I swear. I just rented it.
Do you want to know the end, or should I skip the end?
Please
'Cause
skip
that's
the end.
worst.
I
I
do wanna
believe
see
that's
it.
my job.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the spoiler right there.
There's
I'm sorry. Party Animal's been out for a while.
Yes, there's Hot Dog, the movie about
I wanted to talk
being
about Hot Dog, the
nonetheless.
movie, with the famous quote, "What the fuck is a Chinese downhill?"
Then there's
David Naughton.
Not to be outdone, there's Hamburger, the movie.
All right, that's the one I like.
Hamburger.
Let's see. There's Campus Man, about a beefcake calendar.
That's a PG-13 movie, though.
Hey, it has sex in it. And let's see. There are so many of the genre that you can go to. I mean, anybody can talk about your Revenge of the Nerds. Anybody can talk about stuff like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Which I was going
All right,
to.
go ahead.
Well,
Don't-
you
don't-
can still
don't-
do it, but to just finish my point, let me talk, is that I would just like to say, like Steve, the best ones are the ones that never really made it big, but you saw on cable 20 million times a day, and that you secretly buy at the video and DVD stores, even though you don't want anybody really to know, unless you're Steve, who tells everybody
How
proudly.
about, sorry, My Tutor with
I have that on
Oh,
DVD.
yes, I
excellent.
remember that.
Crispin
Excellent.
Glover.
Crispin Glover and Kevin McCarthy.
I have to mention one movie
Kevin
here. I
McCarthy.
have to mention one. I have to mention
Sorry,
one because this is the movie. This is the movie that I saw that everyone when I was in elementary school said this movie has the most nudity ever. So I rented it, and it was one of the dumbest freaking movies I ever saw.
Chauffeur?
But I enjoyed it. Hard Bodies 2.
Hard Bodies 1 is actually a really good
entertaining
exploitation
movie.
movie.
Yes.
Sex
Two.
exploitation.
I saw Hard Bodies 1.
Hard Bodies 1 and 2, but Hard
Bikini-
Bodies 2.
how about-
Hard Bodies 2 is actually kind of terrible.
How about all?
Yes.
I'm sorry to.
I just saw it. Believe it or not, there's a high-def transfer of it because I just saw it on cable the other week.
When's it coming to DVD?
Who knows? One day.
I'll buy part 1.
Here's some more. Sorry. All the bikini movies, Bikini Car Wash Company 1 and 2.
Who wrote those films, by the way? Mr. Buck Flower.
Wow. way to go,
from
George
John
Buckhart.
Carpenter's fame.
And also from Back to the Future.
Of course.
Crazy
and
drunk
also from
pedestrian.
Ilsa. Both Ilsa 1 and 2. But anyway, there's Bikini Squad, there's Bikini Bistro, there's Bikini Drive-In. I mean,
Wow, that's right.
These
There's a
are
lot of
classic
bikini.
movies.
And there's a movie called Hot T-Shirts from Canon. Let's see. God, there's so many.
There's Meatballs 3 and 4 starring Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman.
Isn't it
great.
funny how those got into like really sexy area from the first one, which is a PG movie with
Yeah.
with Bill
it
Murray.
was basically a National Lampoon film.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah. Well, so Mike, I'm sorry. What was your choice here? I know he already
No,
spoiled
what I
Fast Times.
I wanted to bring up something that both the gentlemen to my right were saying is with Hots with Hot Dog the movie and with many other films, I say thank God for Hugh Hefner and Playboy Playmates because
Try to say that fast twice.
because they were basically the extras in these films that were showing us so much skin.
Well, they actually produced one, the Playboy Channel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, which one I love because the one was so hot. A movie called Preppies.
I believe I saw that.
Which is a very fun movie, with tons of nudity. But the Playboy Channel actually produced it because these movies were so popular on cable. Basically, the reason cable got so popular is because they played all these movies after dark, like Friday After Dark, late. That's when they bought these movies and you'd never even see them on video, but they were these imports from Italy and some other countries. I saw a Fulci film, a Lucio Fulci film, which was a sex movie called, The Devil's Honey, which is one of the most highly erotic films I've ever seen on cable. A man plays, Fulci, the splatter god.
I like hearing you say the words highly erotic.
Yeah, and Fulci in the same
I know, no, it's a movie, a woman, it's actually a revenge film with sex. The opening scene has a musician turning on his hot girlfriend with a saxophone and blowing it between her legs.
Nice.
That
That kind of left us speechless. I also love is where you take the sex comedy and merge it with video games, and you come up with the movie Joysticks, which is actually very good, about a guy who kind of loses his mojo when it comes to playing video games, and it was only because he had sex with his girlfriend in the arcade and was caught. And that made him lose his mojo for playing video games. And they have a video game contest at the local arcade, and they want to bring this video game legend out of his shell. And what do? They bring his old girlfriend back and have her completely nude walking into the arcade. And let me tell you something. It was worth it. It was worth it to get through an hour and 20 minutes of pure crap to get to that full nude scene in the arcade.
So your joystick was fully active, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ.
I have to say that there are some other
so
films,
bad.
such as that have a lot of big stars before they were famous. Sizzle Beach,
Beach, USA.
Oh,
Yes.
Kevin Costner's very first
Their
film.
Private School, when Phoebe Cates was still a big star with Matthew Modine before he even did anything else.
Kim Cattrall was in Police Academy.
True. And she was also in Porky's.
Why can't I think of this woman's name? The woman who was in Intersection. That's the only thing I could think of with her. It was
Lolita
not
Davidovich?
She's in Recruits.
Oh, Lord.
That's a show, that's a topic we should do on another show. Skeletons in the Closet.
There's My Chauffeur with Deborah Foreman.
That's right.
Deborah Foreman is fantastic, but she is not nude in My Chauffeur.
She's never been naked after the rest
Yes,
I
she
know.
has. She was naked in a film called. It was a golf movie with Randy Quaid made just for HBO, and she is fully nude.
Dead Solid Perfect.
Dead Solid Perfect.
Wow, I gotta see that.
If you see that, because I was watching My Chauffeur, for the express point of seeing her completely naked, and you don't see it, and then you see Dead Solid Perfect with her completely nude with Randy Quaid. And if that isn't just strange, I don't know what is.
I think that kind of evens out because Randy Quaid's such a turnoff, but then she kind of balances out on the scales.
She's fantastic,
Really? Randy Quaid's
man.
a turnoff for you?
Yeah, Randy Quaid, he'll
I
kill
like
an
him.
erection faster than anything. Especially when you hear such quotes as, "Yep, real tomato ketchup, nothing but the best."
Yeah, I think that. I'm sorry. I like
Vacation.
Randy Quaid, but the man's an ugly-looking dude. Sorry.
Yeah, somehow a dentist acquired all the good looks, all the abs and all that. And
Well,
Randy was left
There's
with
one movie I
like the
have to
Down
mention.
syndrome.
There's one movie I have to mention because I only mentioned the hard buys movies, but Porky's. I know it's the biggest one, but let me tell you something.
That shower
movie
scene is fantastic. That shower scene
is
is
one of the funniest
very, very
things
fantastic.
I've
It's not
ever
funny,
seen.
It's hot.
It's hysterical.
I
The
mean,
whole
you're not
scene
really
afterwards.
laughing when your pants are around your knees.
The whole scene afterwards. The scene afterwards where she goes to the office to find out who stuck his tallywhacker into the shower.
And they can't stop laughing. They uncontrollably
because he
laugh.
they say they should get a police artist to describe the tallywhacker.
You know, one thing actually I want to kind of bring up is, have you guys noticed that there's not really any such thing as a '90s sex comedy? There's a there's a
2000.
real just a.
Well, people consider the
the
American
opposite
Pie
of a
films.
dearth.
Yeah, American Pie films.
That's the closest they came, and I really didn't care for
you're
them.
gonna get.
I mean,
I
today
mean, there wasn't really that much nudity in them, or
Yeah, I mean, they had Shannon Elizabeth naked, but
here's the problem
other
with these
than that-
films:
Then
the
they tried
independents.
with
All these
Town and
films that
Country
you're
with
mentioning,
Warren Beatty.
all these films that you've mentioned were made by independent studios, which no longer exist because the major studios put them out of business. So that's why you don't really see a lot of these low-budget films, because these major low-budget studios would make films that could exploit something like nudity, which is something that a lot of the major studios didn't offer. Do you see Jennifer Lopez pulling out her, all the time? I don't think so.
Unfortunately,
I mean, the closest you're going to get is something like Secretary. That's the closest you're going to get.
Even Girl Next Door.
And that's almost more dramatic than comedy. So
even Girl Next Door, which is a sex comedy, the lead actress is not.
That's a good one to mention, because I really
like that movie. I really like Girl Next Door, though.
I mean, it's pretty lame in the sense that you want sex to appear in the sex comedy, and there's really no.
The Girl Next Door is a very good film because I think it really captures risky business, the feel of risky business. The only problem is the lead actress, I can't think of her name, Alicia Cuthbert.
Alicia Cuthbert, yeah.
Yeah, she's absolutely beautiful. It's just a shame she doesn't get naked. I mean, and she's a porno actress. She's supposed to be naked. But I still like the film because I thought it was a very sweet romance between the two characters. And I like the...
Timothy Olyphant was great.
Yeah, he was very good.
Oh, he's usually good.
Timothy Olyphant's pretty good in a lot of stuff.
It's a very pro version of the porno industry, too, if you notice, because I heard a lot of the porno people produce that film. Because if you notice, they actually portray the porno industry very well in that film, I think.
Yes, they should.
Well, they don't make them too one-dimensional.
And we almost forgot the most important actor in the movie, James Remar. Come on, he's incredible.
Let's give it up,
with
James
the
Remar.
Star David, which I love.
James Remar made most of Sex and the City watchable when he was on. So, sorry, ladies.
Also great in The Warriors.
Yes.
He is the legendary Ajax.
Well, don't forget he was also supposed to be in Aliens.
That's
but he had a huge fight with Jim Cameron, so he got kicked off the movie. He was supposed to play Hicks.
Yeah. Well, but it went to Michael Biehn, and he's fantastic.
But not to get off the subject. So can you mention some other films you guys like that are worth
I have to
Go
say
ahead.
the most depressing one I've ever watched in my life, The Last American Virgin.
I love that movie.
Which has a realistic ending, but it is so depressing.
And a great soundtrack. Great soundtrack.
Yeah,
There's not really
what music
that
they
much
could
great
get.
nudity in that, though. It's just.
Oh, yes, it is. Diane Franklin.
It's almost just kind of creepy, actually.
Now, you're talking about
beautiful
beautiful women. Beautiful women. Diane Franklin is absolutely amazing in that film. And what's so funny is The Last American Virgin is actually a remake of some Israeli films, the Lemon Popsicle series. It's an actual shot-for-shot scene.
Well, let's talk about beautiful women. I'm going to ask you, Edwin, our host. Edwin, what actress or actresses really get you going? If you see that, you're
Sexiest.
Who
Who butters your popcorn?
Who butters my popcorn? Well, I have to say Diane Franklin. Absolutely so beautiful in Last American Virgin, because that's, as Jeff was talking, she was such a depressing film. The reason it was depressing is because you really loved that character and you felt so much, you felt something for her. She was very beautiful, and also there's something really sweet about her that I liked at that time.
Steve?
Wake up, Steve.
Wake up over there.
Sorry,
We're talking about sexy women.
Sexy women.
Oh, ahead.
It's not funny.
Well,
it's not fun.
I'm going to stretch back further than the 80s. I'm going to stretch back to the 60s syphilis awareness movie Damaged Goods.
Oh, my God.
The lovely Dolores Faith, also in Phantom Planet, who kind of disappeared from the Earth after around 1968.
However, she'll be at Chiller, right?
No, she won't. Charlotte Stewart will be.
Oh, okay.
The other girl from Damaged Goods. But what happened to Dolores Faith?
Well, maybe somebody who's watching can tell us. Anybody knows where Dolores Faith is? Please let Steve know at the email address cinefiles@dvdmaniacs.net.
Please, she's fantastic.
Jeff.
Well, mine isn't really a major actress, but she starred in a bunch of Russ Meyer films, and that is Kitten Navidad.
Yes.
Wasn't she also my tutor?
No, that was, I don't know who that was.
There's also someone named Kitten.
She was in a great film about strippers that if you play a certain song called "Taking It Off," it goes "Taking it off, taking it all off." So if you start whistling this song, if you start singing this song, if the song comes on the radio, there will be a stripper there who will end up taking off all their clothes, and Kitten Navidad is one of them.
I have to see this film.
And she actually masturbates with in the film. She masturbates with a shower brush, and it is actually kind of it's very erotic, and it's actually kind of shocking that this would find its way into this like little independent sex comedy or whatever that she's masturbating with, and she really is. That's the thing. And it was
She
late
really
night.
did perform.
Late night on Cinemax. That's how I discovered that
Is that the
little
so that,
precious gem.
Is that your actress too?
No,
No,
my
no, he
actress
was
is
describing
going
the
back to a couple movies or a couple shows ago, or once again, I have to heap praise upon praise upon praise on Sherry Moon Zombie.
Say that line. Show your ass. Go ahead, please.
Sherry Moon Zombie is she is magical. I mean, just I can't say. I'm sorry, Rob Zombie. You're a lucky man, lucky bastard, Rob Zombie, because she has the most perfect ass, and I'm an ass man. She has the most perfect ass right now in Hollywood. Nobody is coming close. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, that basically brings us to the conclusion of our
Stole
show
fizzy
today.
lifting juice.
Please email us, cinefiles@dvdmaniacs.net. Please let us know what you think of the show. Let us know you're watching. Come on,
Yeah,
somebody.
we're not begging you. You don't have to write us. If you want to write us, you can. But if not, F you. We're doing the show for us.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope to see you same time next week. Until then, thank you.
If I have to go, I will be thinking of your love, but somehow I'm thinking of your love. It's like they whispered away as I played the last post on the view, but I heard him say, oh, that boy's no different today, except in every single way.
I'm an ass man.